Ever notice how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with? That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead. It makes my day.
Black at the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Glenn Miller is with me. He is a white nationalist. Glenn Miller is a longtime white nationalist from Montana. And I'm told that he's a close friend of Craig Cobb, in the news for wanting to build an all-white town in North Dakota. All-white town. Isn't that where the oil is? I think the oil is up in North Dakota. He is here to discuss the real reason that there is and has been so much black-on-white violence. Glenn has appeared on Howard Stern, Alan Colmes, and many other shows when he ran for U.S. Senate and Congress. We're going to tell you how to get to his website as well. Glenn, what is a white nationalist? What is that? What is that exactly?
Well, separatist, national separatist, same thing. We believe in separation of the races as a cure for racism and for all the turmoil, racial turmoil that we have. We believe that racial separation is good for all people, not just white people, but we believe it's good for us because, as you know, the white race is dwindling in number rapidly. We're dying out. That's not an overstatement. We are literally dying out, not just in the United States, but in every single white country.
And why is that?
Well, this culture that we live in today, the society, MTV, pornography, drugs, soap operas, blah, 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 is not conducive to white couples having white children.
You're right, a lot of white adult married couples are not having children anymore, or they only have one, at best two.
Yeah, our birth rate, I think, is something around 1.5 now. And you need 2.1 just to stay even in number, you know. We're dropping rapidly. The other people, blacks do not have a high birth rate either, you might know. Hispanics have a huge birth rate.
Yeah, that's true. And so you believe that if there was a all-white state, all-black state, all-Hispanic state, everybody lived in their own little corner, that it would cut back on the racism, the violence, and the things that's happening in our country today?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable anyway that there'll be a racial separation because the economy is going to collapse soon. That means welfare, food stamps, and all the other good is going to be cut off. And that's going to trigger widespread riots, murders, massacres, slaughters, bloodshed, the race wars coast to coast. That's what I see. I don't see any way out of that. And when that happens, when the economy collapses, I advocate that the various racial groups come together and the leaders and negotiate the separation of races. You know, who goes where.
Why can't people just live together? I mean, why? I mean, we are human beings created in the image of God. We all are. Why can't we just all live together and get along?
Well, it's never happened before, nowhere in the world.
And why is that, though?
Because of the inherent racial aspects of people. You know, probably, in my estimation, 98% of blacks hate white people. They literally hate white people. You know, they most of them try to hide it, and most of them will deny it. But the fact of the matter is they do hate us.
And why do you think that?
Because they're taught to hate us.
Yeah. Well, I agree that most black people do hate white people. That's for sure. I wish I didn't have to agree with that, but it's true. Most blacks, I don't know if it's 98%, but most blacks do hate white Americans. That's for sure.
That's unfortunate. It didn't used to be that way. Of course, back when you and I were growing up, it wasn't nearly as bad.
No.
But there's a book out called Hating Whitey by David Horowitz. Have you read that book?
I haven't read it, but I'm familiar with it, and I do know David. So yeah, he
says, quote, ideological hatred of whites is now an expanding industry in educational institutions.
Yeah.
The fact is that in America it is not tolerable to hate blacks, but it's perfectly okay in our politically correct culture to hate white people. It's taught, all the movies put out mainly by Jews. Jews control Hollywood, as we all know. Movies like Roots, A Time to Kill, Ghosts of Mississippi, Amistad, The Middle Passage. There are countless movies, documentaries that teach white people to hate us. They show scenes, for example, in Amistad, I assume you watched that movie, of white men beating naked blacks who are chained. They're chained together naked, and white men are beating the hell out of them with whips. Women, too. Women are laying down in that movie naked, being beaten by white men. One of them has a little baby in their arms.
Well, I don't know if the Jews own everything, but I do know.
Showing scenes like that to young, impressionable black people.
Yeah,
children.
It's not good. I agree.
Now, wait, it actually teaches them to hate us.
Yes.
And the Jews do that deliberately.
Well, I don't know if the Jews doing it. I know that Hollywood.
Jews control the media. Come on now, Jess. Let's be honest with one another.
Hollywood definitely put out a lot of violent films. I don't even go watch the black films anymore because they are all about racism, and it's all. I mean, they're put out there just to get you angry, in order to divide the races. But let me ask you, Glenn. Let me ask. Are you, many people think that you are a racist. Are you a racist?
I think I am. I think everybody is.
And why are you?
Everybody is.
And
all blacks.
What is a racist, Glenn? What is a racist? You say you are. What is a racist?
One who prefers to be among their own people and who has a desire to work for the interests of their own people.
Do you hate all black people?
I wouldn't say hate. I don't think white people are even capable of hatred much. It's not in our temperament. The white people, what our temperament. We're easygoing. We forgive quickly. We take a lot of abuse before we stand up and fight back. That's the way white people are. And we all know that. All blacks know that, and all Hispanics and everybody else knows it the way that we are. We're easy targets.
So if you say you don't hate black people, but how can you be a racist if you don't hate?
Well, I just love my own people far more than any other people. But you can call me, I'm not uncomfortable. If you want to call me a racist, feel perfectly free. I have a lot of hatred in me, too. I love to hate. Oh, I adore it.
And why is that?
Because if people who are not capable of hate are not capable of love. In other words, if you're not capable of strong feelings, dislike something that wants to harm you or your family, if you don't have an intense dislike for that, then you can't possibly love them.
So do you hate blacks, Hispanics, anybody other than white folks?
Well, I hate Jews, most definitely. Compared to our Jewish problem, other problems are just plain distractions. The Jews are our biggest problem.
And what have the Jews done to you?
Tells the truth. Louis Farrakhan tells the truth about the Jews. And I agree with him. He's my favorite black man, by the way.
But Louis Farrakhan would hate a person like you.
I don't think so. Not at all. Not at all.
But you're white. Louis Farrakhan don't like white people.
Well, he understands and he preaches that it's not white's fault. The Jews call the shots, Jesse.
Let me take a break. 888-775-3773. 888-77 Jesse. Back in a moment.
I want to tell you it's my house and
Okay, folks, welcome back. Preachers in the Pulpit coming up in the second hour today. Merry Christmas. I am taking your phone calls at 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. Glenn Miller is my guest. He's a white nationalist. He also ran for U.S. Senate and Congress at one point. He's appeared on Alan Colmes and Howard Stern and other shows. He is here, and he wants a separate state for white folks only. Glenn, you contacted us. How did you hear about us?
Well, I've watched you on TV for many, many years. I always, respected you for your courage in standing up against the, black establishment.
Oh, okay.
And I thought I could, offer your listeners, some input that would to help them in their quest for truth. But getting back to Jews Run Hollywood, there's the Jews publish a magazine. It's called Moment, Moment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just Google Moment, Jews Run Hollywood, so what?
Well, I'll check it out. But let me ask you.
Those words appeared on the cover of one of their magazines. A guy by the name of Michael Medved. You probably know him. He's a radio talk show. He's a Jewish guy.
Yes.
But he wrote the article saying that it's stupid to deny that Jews control Hollywood. He said it's so blatantly obvious.
Well, I'm not sure who control Hollywood, but I am concerned about your hatred. Are you? Let me ask Glenn. Glenn, hold on. Are you a Christian?
No.
Oh, you're not a Christian?
No way.
And why not? Okay, no way.
I think it's a slave's religion.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, and I don't believe it anyway. God of the universe who controls everything going on in the universe, and God produced a baby of a virgin woman. That's just I can't buy all that. He walked on water barefooted. How the hell can sane people believe that? And then you believe in that dead kike on a stick as your savior. That is the most absurd, slave-like mentality I can imagine.
So, Glenn, you do not believe in God at all?
I believe in nature, Mother Nature, sweet Mother Nature. That is God. That is God. And we've gotten away from nature. We should learn from nature and not try to rule it, not try to control it, dominate it.
And you were created, Glenn. Hold on. You were created by sweet Mother Nature. That's who created you.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so when you die,
who do you think, God?
When you die, where will you go?
Oh hell, I'm going to go for a long, peaceful sleep, about a trillion centuries.
Do you have a wife and children?
Yes, I have 5 beautiful children and a wonderful wife,
and have you taught them the same thing?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I insist that they believe it too.
You insist that they believe it. Have you? Have you taught them to?
I told all 5 of my children, if you ever date anybody but a white person, I will kill you.
Wow.
And they know I'm serious. So, and they're all grown and married now.
And none of them dated outside their race?
That's correct. Absolutely. They believe their daddy. And I think it's a crime. It's a racial sin. It is treason for a black man to go with a white woman. That's treason, racial treason.
How old are you, Glenn?
I'm 73.
Oh, I see. 888-775-3773. Let's take some calls. Let's go out to Hampton, Virginia, and talk to Rick. Rick, good morning, sir. Merry Christmas. You're on with Glenn Miller.
Man, Jesse, good morning to you. How you guys are doing this morning?
All is well.
Well, hey, Glenn Miller, I'd like to say good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
And I'll tell you why racism exists for, because it's the teaching that these parents teach these kids, whites, black, Hispanics. You know, it's amazing when a kid is born, they don't even know nothing about hate until they get a hold of us. And just with some of that stuff you just said, like don't date a white person or don't date anything outside your race. That's taught. You are teaching your kids to be racist. And
well,
don't get me wrong,
the media teaches blacks to hate us. Don't you agree?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay, you agree with that. Thank you. Thank you. See, that is our main problem. I'm trying to get across to Jesse. He's trying to reduce black on white crime. And I'm telling him that he can't do that because the masters of the media, who are the Jews, deliberately incite racial hatred among white or among black
But it's
youth.
not the Jews' fault that blacks are hating white people. You can't blame that on the Jews.
I just named you a list of movies that incite racial hatred, and every one of them was produced by Jews. Every one of those movies I mentioned you were produced by Jews.
Hold on, Glenn. Hey, Glenn, hold on. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just like Farrakhan is blaming Jews for the financial plight of blacks. The Jews don't have anything to do with that. You can still love despite what they're exciting. And you know, I can't even blame that on the Jews.
Well, I wish you black people would show a little bit more love, but according to crime statistics, you don't have a whole lot of love for white people, now do you?
And I agree. I mean, like
well, let's do something about it.
People.
Let's expose the Jews who are sicking black people on white people. You got to expose them, and then you neutralize them. But you guys ain't got enough guts. Y'all don't have the guts to stand up to the Jews. That is the bottom line, sir.
I mean, I consider anyone that's being racist. I don't care, you Hispanic, Jew, whatever. If you being racist,
everybody's racist. What's the matter with you? Come on now, everybody's racist. All blacks want to do what's good for black people. All Hispanics want to do what's good for Hispanics.
But I disagree with you on that, Glenn.
What are you talking about?
I disagree with that, too. I'm not like that.
But, Glenn, there are blacks and whites and Jews and Hispanics and others want to do what's best for the country. Not what's best for some race. Yes, you do have some racial people in this country, but all blacks, all Jews, all whites, and all Hispanics are not racist.
Yes, sir. I'm not, and I'm
like I said, 98%. Look at blacks vote black, for example. They vote for the politicians that promise more for black people. The Jews vote for politicians that will promise to do more and more for the Jews.
And who do the whites vote for?
White people are so brainwashed and stupid, they don't know who the hell to vote for, so they're split right down the middle, meaning they have no political power at all.
Glenn, did you vote for Obama?
No, but I tell you what, I much preferred Obama over McCain.
Why is that?
Because McCain is a whore for Israel, and he promotes all these trillion-dollar wars in the Middle East for Israel that has murdered millions of black and brown people that you ought to be concerned about, but you're not, because you're afraid of offending the Jews.
I'm not afraid of offending anyone. I disagree with you that all Jews are racist. That's not true.
You sound like Farrakhan now. He said the same thing, and then he had to come back and renege on a lot of stuff he said in the past. Too.
Glenn going to regret this hatred in his heart. Thank you, Rick, for your call. Back in a moment.
Not really sure how to feel about it. Something in the way you move makes me feel like I can't live without you. It takes me all the way. I want you to stay.
Okay, Preachers in the Pulpit coming up in the next hour. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. 888-775-3773. Glenn Miller is with me, a white nationalist, and he believed that there should be separate states for all races. Everybody should have their own little corner to live in. I disagree, of course. We are human beings created in the image of God, and there is a thing called love. And if we love one another, we can all live together. Glenn doesn't agree with that. Glenn, let me ask, do you love your children?
Oh, yeah.
And so how are you able to love your children but hate other people? You can't have both.
Yes, you can, too.
No, you cannot have love and hate. You either have one or the other. You can't have both.
Well, you already agreed that the white race is dying out.
Right, but
You already agreed that most blacks hate our guts. You already agreed to that.
but that doesn't justify you hating back. You're hating back.
So my point is, let's separate. But I want to prove to you that Jews rule America. You know, the Prime Minister of Israel, Ariel Sharon, said this before the Knesset. You know, the Israeli.
I want to go back to my question first. Hold on. We heard all about the Jews. Hold on.
No, you ain't heard about the
Hold
Jews
on.
either.
So you love
come
your
on.
children. How can you love your children but hate other people? You can't have
Because
both.
I want to protect my children from that hate.
But if you
by
have,
black people, hate and violence. You know, hate and violence are two different things.
I know, but Glenn, listen to me. If you have hatred, that's all you have to give to your children and anyone else.
That's hogwash.
No, you don't have. You can't have love
What kind
and
of world are
hate.
you living in?
Your children, I guarantee you, your children are not happy people
Oh,
because
you ought to see 'em.
their
Lord, they're
father.
the most happy, enlightened
No.
people you've ever met in your
No,
life.
their father have passed hatred down to them. They can't be happy.
Well, they seem to thrive on it, just like your daddy. But Ariel
Hold on.
Sharon said this.
Hold on a minute. Hold on, Glenn. Let me take some more calls.
You don't want to
Let's
hear
go
the
out
truth
to.
about the Jews.
Hold on, Glenn. Let's go out to Georgia, Atlanta, and talk to Mel. Mel, good morning. You're on with Glenn Miller.
Mr. Miller,
You,
I agree with you.
thank you.
I agree with everything you're saying about the Jews and about you want to be separate. But
Okay.
see, Mr. Miller, see, Peterson there, we have a lot of course, I know you listen to the radio show, and I'm one of the regular callers that calls him and disagree with everything he said. Everything that Peterson said. See, Mr. Miller, Peterson, he hates his own people. He hates his own color, black people. He hates us. And how in the world can he tell you about the way you want to have your own people? He can't tell you
How? Why do you?
about the Jews. And I believe what you said. The Jews do control this country.
Hey, Mel. So
Like you said,
That's a smart African American.
they own the banks, they own Wall Street, they own everything in this country.
And Jesse's afraid to say
Well,
it.
listen to that, Mr. Miller, I'm going to call you Mister, because I respect what you're saying.
wow.
Because he's saying that, Mr. The Muslim man that he's your good friend.
Oh, Louis Farrakhan.
He thinks the same way like you do.
You talk about Farrakhan?
Yes.
Oh, Mel. Let me ask. So you hate Jesus too?
We're not talking about
What the hell that got to do with
You
anything?
know what? They consider Jesus is a Jew.
So, right. Jesus is a Jew. But Mel, let me ask.
Mr. Miller, do you think Jesus was a Jew?
What's the question?
My question is this. Peterson saying that Jesus was a Jew.
How can that be? I thought his father was God.
See,
You mean is God a Jew?
Unbelievable. Mel.
See, he's a liar. You know what? I call him a liar.
Hey,
He's
Mel.
a liar.
Mel, do you hate Jesus
he
too?
He hate.
Mel, do you hate Jesus? Do you hate Jesus, Mel?
That's not the question.
That is the question. That's what I
the
asked.
question you answered me.
Yes.
Dead kike on a stick.
Do you agree with that, Mel?
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Do you agree with that, Mel?
I agree with we do have a God, but when it comes to God, he's a spirit. That's the only thing I ever was taught. He's not black. He's not white. He's a spirit.
And he's not.
That's what Mr. Miller can't tell you about. He don't believe in it, but he believes in nature.
So, Mel, let me ask you. You're saying Jesus was not a Jew.
I don't know what color Jesus was. I don't know what his nationality was.
So, have you ever read the Bible, Mel?
Don't ask me no questions. I agree with everything you said.
Mel, have you read the scripture before?
All the black leaders in this country, and all the thing they're doing the same thing that you're doing, Mr. Miller. You want to control your own white race.
And Mel, do you want a separate state for the blacks?
I wouldn't mind having one.
For the blacks?
I wouldn't mind having one. I'm just like Mr. Miller said. He want a white state. I wish I had a black state.
And why?
I just told you.
But all you do is turn into a ghetto.
I just told you.
You just create a ghetto.
Hey, you gonna let me say something in here?
Today. Thank you.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, Jews claim to be God's chosen people. Doesn't that make them supremacists?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it does?
But Glenn, let me, because of time.
They say they're God's chosen people and above all the people on earth, but you don't call that supremacy.
Glenn, let me say
Come
this
on,
to
you
you.
don't have to be honest with me, Jess, if you're going to keep me on the line now.
Glenn, let me take a quick break. We'll come back and wind down with you. Wind it up or wind it down. Which one are we doing? Winding it up or wind down? I'm back in a moment.
I'm coming home, baby, now. I'm coming home now, right away. I'm coming home, baby, now. I'm sorry now I ever went away. Every night and day I go and stay. I'm coming home, baby.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Preachers in the Pulpit coming up next. If you're not getting all 3 hours of the show by way of radio in your town, go to bondinfo.org, bondinfo.org, and continue to listen live for the next 2 hours. Merry Christmas. Don't forget to make a donation to my nonprofit organization, Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. We are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. We also started our Bond Leadership Academy for boys, and next year for boys and girls. We need to raise $1 million, so we need your support. Go to bondinfo.org or call 1-800-411-2663, 1-800-411-BOND. And thank you for those to those who have already donated and those who are thinking of donating. I do appreciate it. Glenn Miller, do you have a website you'd like to give out?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. My website is WHTY.org. That's short for Whitey, WHTY.org. But
Glenn, let me ask, do you celebrate Christmas?
And my telephone number is on that website. I'd enjoy receiving some phone calls and, discuss what we're discussing here. But
do you celebrate Christmas?
I think the website davidduke.com is the greatest, the most insightful, honest website in cyberspace. davidduke.com.
Do you celebrate Christmas, Glenn?
Yeah, out of habit. My youngers expect something on Christmas. So I ain't
Who
going
did
to
you
disappoint them.
when you were a kid? Were you taught to hate as a little boy?
Yeah.
Oh, by whom?
Yeah, I went to church every Sunday, and they told us to that we ought to be proud of our race and culture and history.
Oh, so you were raised this way.
And it was God did not want us to race mix.
And who did you vote for in this last presidential election?
I set it out. To be honest with you.
Oh, you didn't vote for anyone.
Yeah.
And so let me ask Glenn. So your church, your father said that God did not want to mix the race. But if you guys don't believe in God, why would he say that God didn't want the races to mix?
Well, that's when I was a little boy, not now. But are you going to let me get my point in about Ariel Sharon?
No.
See there? You conservatives are all the same. You conservatives are more dangerous to freedom
No,
the
but
liberals
you've
are.
said enough.
Because you are so terrified of the Jews.
No,
you are terrified of them.
you have said enough. Glenn, my heart goes out to you. I wish.
You know you wouldn't be on the air long if the Jews were exposed.
Glenn, I pray that you overcome your hatred before you die.
And
because
now you're going to cut me off because I'm exposing the Jews.
All right, we're out of time. Thanks for being with me, Glenn. Glenn, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Back in a moment.
But the prettiest sight